from three districts: Chikkodi, Bellary, and Vijayanagara guides, and then Raichur. Chikkodi team made the presentations, and the nodal officer was Viresh, Mr. Viresh sir. So they have gone to the following schools. I mean, in the sense, the teachers trained under these programs. One CLT follow-up, and then one teacher who underwent both CLT and SSLC. That is capacity building. This is just a 5-day program, but this was mainly designed to improve the results of SSLC. That year, 3 years ago, when the SSLC results were found very less in certain schools, so they asked us to develop, focusing only on the results, how to improve the results. So that program is called capacity building. I think not many of you had the uh, chance to go to these teachers, schools, especially these teachers who underwent SSLC capacity building program. So these districts members visited this teacher, and then ENK, one teacher trained by ENK, and then MTIP, and then CLT. So three CLT trained teachers is a team of Chikkodi visited, and also three teachers trained under ENK, where one was a follow-up program. So I'll not be repeating, I'll keep it short. I'll not be repeating the facts that you have presented, because yesterday also I told in my group. So going to school, school data, these are all common things. So there's no point in repeating them. So only things that you highlighted well. Some things I liked about your presentations, and then some things to discuss where we need a little bit of reflection. I'll be highlighting only on those aspects. Okay. So first, CLT school. Okay, objectives, background, tools. Almost everybody followed these things religiously. We conducted oral and written tests, and had the data, and observed the differences in terms of students' performance, etc. And apart from that, facts that you presented, your observations were that the classroom was very decorative, in the sense with lot of TLM, because this is follow up. So earlier the class was not that full of TLM, but again one thing should be kept in mind: class. No, this is a good observation, but uh, class looking rich with TLM is not just sufficient. The TLM should be used effectively, because this can be easily done for show off. Somebody is coming for a visit, so if class has lot of TLM displayed on the walls, charts, that doesn't mean that's a TLM rich classroom or lot of. So this is something to keep in mind. So a simple interview can, you can find out, like, do you use these materials, or are these materials only for display, etc. And especially primary versus high school also makes this difference. In fact, primary schools needs to be visually rich. High schools need not be, because you're not dealing with small children. Small children, you need to make things attractive. Looks are important, but high school not so important. So this is something to be kept in mind while you as a resource person. When you find a classroom rich with materials, you should see what level, and then see whether it's only done for display or are they really being used. Then another observation that you mentioned was classroom was not inclusive before, because it's a follow up, and now it is very participatory. So this is exactly what the kind of differences that we should see. I think we should highlight these kind of differences, especially if your visit is a follow up visit, right? So this is good. This is a good observation. Not inclusive, but now it is lot of participation is there, because language classes participation inclusion is very very important. That we keep saying, no, teacher is a facilitator, but many teachers do not know the meaning of it. Everybody knows the facilitator word by mouth, but then facilitation means teacher being passive as much as possible and putting the students in front, making the students active. making the students participate, making the students read, write, and use the language. So when these things practically happen only, we can say that the real facilitation is happening and the teacher is a real facilitator. Okay, then a lot of code mixing was happening by students. This is one observation. Now this can be both positive and negative depending on the situation. We can't say. You only have to decide as an RP whether this is good or bad because it depends on the actual level of the students, right? So code mixing is good because we are only promoting bilingualism, right? We are saying the students cannot respond completely in English. They can use bits of mother tongue here and there. So that is code mixing. So when students can't completely speak in English, if the teacher allows the student to comfortably express using mixing a little bit of mother tongue wherever he can't use English, that is called code mixing. I'm sure all of you know it. But then we should see where and how. If the students are able to speak English but still using mother tongue, that should not be allowed. So that is the whole objective of bilingualism and multilingualism, right? So using their mother tongue or using their languages as a support while learning and using English. So this is something to be kept in mind. Especially if it is primary children, it is good because at least in a mixed way, students are still using English. We can't expect at that stage students to use completely English. And then in the initial stages, teacher was observed to be very casual by this team, very casual, not so serious. But later, the same teacher was found to be professional in the sense a lot of PPTs were used, it seems, and then a lot of vocational classes. But I again have a problem with PPT. See, yes, in a regular class, teacher doesn't have to use PPTs. RPs like you and me can use PPTs. In a classroom, textbook is there, right? Textbook is your main tool. Teacher doesn't have to unless it is required. So you should see where and how. It should not be that you are going for visit, so they are doing all this for show off. So we need to be very vigilant towards teachers' efforts. Now most of us are very sympathetic, empathetic, because we are also teachers like them. So we want to be positive all the time. This is fine, but the whole objective of these DRT program and these visits, all your hard work, leaving your own work, you're going to visit all these. So many of us have this sympathy and empathy where if somebody puts efforts, we are happy. So that effort should be in the right direction. So this is one example. This is just for your analysis. I'm not saying whether these teachers should have used PPTs or shouldn't have used PPTs because certain things we won't understand. You will understand because you are there in the crowd. So in a normal sense, a teacher doesn't need to use PPT for small students because textbook everything is there. So if there is a reason, valid reason, fine. Otherwise, it should not be just for the sake of showing it to you that I am kind of professional, so I am using PPT, etc. And vocational classes, in the sense, maybe they meant extra classes. In summer also, the teacher conducted classes, it seems, so which is very good. It's very rare to find. So such teachers needs to be, appreciated. Definitely, this is not easy, and not every teacher can do these kind of things. So when teachers do take this kind of extraordinary measures, they need to be heartfully, appreciated, recognized, and acknowledged properly by you as a team. Not just formality. It's good. It's easy to say it's good and it's bad. But once we are an RP, we should be very specific, like what was good, what was bad, where can improvement happen. Our feedback should be, specific. The next, another teacher was.